Hey guys, what's going on? It's your boy RJ Game News USA here, back today with another video. And today we're going to discuss Mina the Hollower. We're going to react to an IGN review of Mina the Hollower. They gave it a 10 out of 10. This is IGN's third 10 out of 10 this year, which is haywire for them. Sometimes they go a year or even 2 years without giving out a single 10. But Mina the Hollower's got a 10, Mixtape got a 10, and Forza got a 10. I agree with Forza. I don't agree with Mixtape, obviously. But did it deserve a 10? We're going to find out when we react to this video. But first, please remember to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. Let's jump right into it. So, Mina the Hollower is right now the highest rated game of 2026. As of the time that's recording, it has a 93 on Metacritic. And like I said, we're about to look at this 10 out of 10 from IGN. It was reviewed by Sam Claiborne. He is somebody that is frequently on GameScoop. I like him. I think he's funny. I think he actually has a little bit of character to that show with the mustache and the things that he says. And he sometimes has outrageous takes. I did look throughout his review history, and I had no issues for the most part with his review history. His last 10 out of 10 game he gave out was Metroid Prime Remastered, which I would agree is definitely a 10 out of 10 game. So, with that being said, if you don't know what Mina the Hollower is basically sort of like a top-down Link's Awakening type game, but with more creepy vibes or whatever. A retro-looking style game. It's made from the same people who made Shovel Knight. And I know Celia is somebody that's frequently on Spawncast or Game and Talk with that panel of people, and she works for them. And so I've been aware of the game for a while. I just had no idea it was going to break out this good. I really expected this game to score maybe about 10 points lower on the Metacritic scale. I didn't think it looked all that impressive necessarily. It does look retro, which is good for me. Good news is the game is only $20, and chances are, if I like what I'm seeing here from the review, which I'm going to guess I will, chances are I will end up buying the game after I'm done with 007 First Light. But my God, did this take the shine away from 007 First Light? You know, it comes in at like an 87 and people are excited, and then this comes in and smacks everybody upside the head with a 93. Which is, like I said, higher than Pacopia, it's higher than Resident Evil 9 Requiem, it's higher than Pragmata, it's higher than Sorrows. It's right now sitting in the top spot for Game of the Year, or at least the highest rated Metacritic game, which would also mean it's probably going to be one of the best indie games we've seen in this decade. So, enough jibber jabber, let's get to the review and react.
It may look like a Game Boy game from the 1990s, but this diminutive RPG is hiding far more than I expected beneath the surface. And once I burrowed on in, I never wanted to come back up. Mina the Hollower is a tough-as-nails adventure that isn't shy about its influences. It borrows the Legend of Zelda's open-world structure, adds a healthy amount of Castlevania's horror setting and haunting soundtrack, and it peps things up with a dose of FromSoft's Souls games in its combat and progression. But somewhere in that mix, Mina becomes more than the sum of its parts, cleverly riffing and remixing them in smart ways. Its blocky exterior disguises rich combat systems, some of the best puzzle solving ever put to screen, and a funny, deeply weird world I love to explore.
Wow. Your main character is a mouse, by the way, if you did not know. But already, though, I'm a little concerned right off the bat. You know, I gotta be honest. I don't know if I would be even good at this game. Like, everybody loves Hollow Knight, and I suck at it. So, I mean, I was okay at Shovel Knight, but I worry this game might be too difficult. I'm just saying, it could be.
Developer Yacht Club Games is no stranger to retro tributes, with its standout Shovel Knight series drawing heavily from NES classics like Mega Man. While Shovel Knight stuck to its source material pretty closely, Mina uses Zelda games like Link's Awakening and the Oracle Duo as a foundation for a much deeper, more modern take on a top-down action RPG. It doesn't play like one of those turn-of-the-century Zeldas, though, because Mina has a completely open world. There are no paths blocked until you get some special item, and nothing but your own skill level keeps you from going to any one of its 4 initial dungeons first. You just need to fight your way there.
Okay, I like that. I like that. There's 4 initial dungeons you can get to, and you could go to any of them you wish, in any order. That I do like. That, I gotta say, is nice, because even if I'm struggling with a certain dungeon, I could go to a different dungeon.
Can't cut it, there's probably another path to try instead, a clever place to grind for money and levels, or some side quests that lead to optional upgrades. Mina's world is an entrancing mix of gothic fantasy and steampunk tech. There are plenty of adorable animal denizens, like Mina herself, but also building-busting giants, friendly abominations, and a whole lot of possums. Ugh. These characters all have lives that are affected by your actions, and many end up holding a greater purpose in the larger story, which has some fun, if predictable, twists and turns, and really saves the good stuff for the end of the game. Mina herself is a bit of an enigma. She's a monster slayer, but also something of a mad scientist who has outfitted the Tenebrous Isles with tech that is being mysteriously sabotaged. The plot follows whether her machines are actually good or bad, and while brave little Mina seems to act heroically in this kill-or-be-killed overworld, often solving problems for the Isle folk, she also causes a few. Without spoiling anything, those can come back to haunt you. This little white mouse explores a lot of gray areas, and I love that.
Wow.
There are 6 main dungeons spread across the Tenebrous Isles, each with a matching
Alright, so there's 6 main dungeons. Alright, so let's keep that in mind. Remember he said you could access 4 of them initially.
Area that leads up to it. A swamp, a beach, a crypt. You played a video game before. All 6 are filled with charm and challenge. One area, called Septemberg,
I love dungeons, man. I love dungeons. If this plays this looks like it's going to play like an old school, like top-down 2D Zelda. You know, my favorite top-down 2D Zelda, really, or whatever we want to call it, was, I really like A Link Between Worlds the most, and this definitely has potential to surpass that.
Especially stood out as a piece of storytelling I'd never experienced before. It's a region with a general Halloween vibe where you are told of a lurking horror, and the way you have to manage that Resident Evil-esque threat through a hedge maze, a lightning storm, and more is absolutely bonkers. An adrenaline-inducing sequence that I love. There are parts of the Tenebrous Isles that you can't access immediately, but the way to reach them is never a dungeon-based upgrade. It's a secret passage, a side quest, or in some cases, by using a specific collectible sidearm. This is the best and most pure kind of open world, and it's executed excellently here. Mina dangles a prize just out of reach, challenging you. Can you cross that gap? Can you get to that chest from above? Should you go in that creepy hole in the ground right now with no save point in sight? Mina's moveset...
Old school save points. Interesting. Yeah, it's going to be interesting whether or not... Oh, do you go down this hole? Do you risk the save point? You know, exploration, curiosity, seeing something off in the distance, wondering if you could get to it. That's all sounds like good game design to me.
As you meet these challenges is all her own, and it is a ton of fun to learn and master as you explore. Her ability to burrow beneath the ground and then pop up for an aerial leap is multi-purpose. It's a dash, a dodge, a long jump, and eventually a graceful way to dance around an enemy like a furry little ninja. There's a learning curve for sure, and effectively working this move into my hacking and slashing took time. But once I got the hang of burrowing, it became a versatile combat tool that made Mina feel extra nimble compared to, say, a certain squat little Hylian. And then there's the soundtrack accompanying every area. It's pure Castlevania. It could easily be the soundtrack to 1987's coolest game featuring Frankenstein, but it's a style that still feels totally rad when executed this well in 2026.
Oh yeah, that music slaps, dude. That music fucking slaps. Oh man, this is hitting all the right beats for me.
In case you needed even more Castlevania, you've also got a whip. Mina's Night Star is one of the 5 possible weapons to pick from, and it's a fantastic go-to option. And of course, every aspiring Belmont's choice of weapon. I stuck with the Night Star for most of my time with Mina, but I also ended up falling in love with the high DPS daggers, Whisper...
So this is a mix of Castlevania and Zelda, is what it sounds like. Zelda, as far as the game structure goes, like 2D Zelda, as far as like the game structure, dungeons, Except it's a little more open-ended, obviously. And item gathering. But as far as like vibe, music, weapons, it's very Castlevania-esque. So I freaking love it, man. I'm definitely going to play it, actually. I'm already sold.
And Vesper. More of an Alucard thing. And just look at all these awesome Castlevania-inspired cutscenes ahead of each dungeon. The other system ripped straight out of Castlevania are the sidearms, which give you a variety of secondary attacks. Options like the sword or axe function almost exactly like sub-weapons in Castlevania. I especially like the little ghost that attacked enemies and drained jewels over time, and a demon pet on a leash that acts as your own personal chain chomp. There are also some weird sidearms too, like the Iron Steed, a bicycle with sort of a jousting rod attached that serves as both a quick option to dash around and a way to jump over huge gaps to reach secret areas. You can augment most of Mina's moves through swappable trinkets, which provide buffs that boost your movement. My preferred combos for exploration, long jumps, increased burrowing time, wall grabs, were very different than those for combat. DPS multipliers, a revive, and health extenders.
Man, there are so many deep mechanics in this game that you wouldn't have expected.
Dozens of trinkets to find, some extremely useful on their own, and others that only add up to huge results when used together. Unlike many games, where I tend to stick to a formula that works, it was always exciting to find a new one to experiment with in Mina. The other way to upgrade your game are bones, and they're just like Dark Souls' souls or Elden Ring's runes. Basically experience points that you can spend on permanent attack and defense level ups or various shop items. Otherwise, you risk losing whatever is in your pocket upon death. Now, Mina isn't nearly as punished.
Okay, that's where I may have the issue with the game. This roguelike, Souls-like sort of light element to this.
Of some Souls games, though, as you can quickly gain multiple sparks that will prevent you from losing your bones if you die. Your healing also has a really fun and twisted twist to it. You have a stock of health potions, but they only heal based on how much you've attacked enemies since getting hurt. So that means if you're getting low, you have to go on offense. Trinkets can once again play with...
That may be one of the most clever healing systems I've ever heard of. How has nobody thought of this? The game forcing you, when you have low health, to try to attack and not just keep dodging and running around in order to revive your health. That sounds freaking brilliant. Sounds a little difficult, but fucking brilliant.
With this system in amusing ways, but the core of it is a gamble I ended up loving and making plenty of wrong bets on. Mina is a very hard game, but it gives you plenty of options whenever you get stuck depending on your playstyle. You can certainly just get good and learn a tricky boss's patterns, or you can find a grinding spot, which is particularly fun in the late game, and get more bones, and then absolutely roll that same boss. Alternatively, you could play with your trinket build until you find some...
So, definitely gonna start Mina, but I'm gonna have a hard time envisioning myself finishing this game based on what he just said. I'm not a grinder. I don't just get good at certain games like this either. So yeah, I don't know if I'll end up finishing the game. But to be completely honest, with the $20 price tag, even if I just got 4 or 5 good hours out of that, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, one of my favorite games that I gave a 10 out of 10 to of all time, like one of the 40-something games I've ever given a 10 to, was Bayonetta 2. I beat that entire fucking game in 7 hours. So, if I have a good, even 4 or 5 hour experience, beat a few dungeons, and maybe I really do get stuck and don't want to grind or whatever, I'll still consider it money well spent for $20 fucking dollars. You know what I mean?
And some combo that makes that particular boss a breeze. All these upgrades really matter. Enemies that take 10 hits could take half that after a bone up. I love that. Of course, every Souls-inspired game also has its version of a save point that both heals you and restores all of the enemies to the world. Mina's is cute and clever, a tiny underlab you burrow down to. There you can use stored bones to level up, swap trinkets, and change weapons. The main loop of Mina becomes centered largely on whether or not you can make it to or find the next underlab, or whether you should retreat to the last one you visited. This sets up that ultra-tense, risk versus reward version of exploration that makes so many games so hard to put...
Yes, that is definitely what old school games, not the old school where once you died, you restart the whole fucking game. Like, I understand why people soured on that. I don't like that either as much. But the idea of having to get from save point to save point, not just you could just click a menu, hit save, and there you are. I get the convenience of doing that. I understand. But for a game like this, the idea of pushing to get to the next save point, I get it. I get the appeal here. I get the challenge here. And, hopefully I can overcome the challenge. We'll see. But I'm definitely fucking interested in this game.
Put down. After a successful outing...
And by the way, shout out to Sam Claiborne, too, for an excellent review. This is an excellent review of why this game is good.
You'll think, just one more try. At least I know where the enemies are now. A neat twist to Mina's Underlab is that you can outfit it with things like a way to store sidearms, replenish their ammo, or even look at a basic map that tracks collectibles by region. Speaking of maps, Mina does not have a detailed room-by-room map to pore over for secrets. While this makes it a lot more like Dark Souls and Bloodborne in terms of its sheer, terrifying unknown of what's ahead, it cuts out Zelda, Metroid, or Castlevania's pressure to constantly probe the edges of a pause screen map in order to sniff out collectibles hidden past a breakable wall or some such thing. There are plenty of secrets out there, you just have to probe every element of a room in order to find them. This helped me focus on the combat, platforming, and survival, which I did appreciate, and I did love how it significantly ups the challenge of finding secrets in creative ways. A game with so many disparate influences runs the risk of becoming a mishmash or a hodgepodge, but Mina's inspirations are all awesome choices that mix really well together. And despite being so referential, Mina is actually quite unpredictable, and it frequently plays up the element of surprise. These surprises can be small, like a freaky clown who jump scares you only to tell a dad joke, or they can be really big. While I obviously won't spoil anything here, Mina's triumphant ending is its biggest surprise of all. Undoubtedly, one for the books. To get to that ending takes a while, too. After 23 hours, I rolled credits with 72% completion and immediately started into a New Game Plus to find all the stuff I didn't find the first time around. Those 23 hours were more than enough for me to fall head over heels for Mina, but there's a lot more, too. Each New Game Plus through the 7th run has unique permutations. The initial NG Plus I'm on now has far...
So you could do up to 7 runs on New Game Plus, and there's different permutations going on. That's crazy.
Far fewer save spots, making runbacks an absolute killer, which blissfully is not a concern at all in the base playthrough. And for you old school cheat code fans, there's a massive menu of modifications to turn on and off, which range from goofy to helpful. You can even toggle on a sort of god mode when you get stuck.
Wait a minute, they do have... Hold on a second, I'm looking here at the options here in the menu. This could be very Celeste-like, because Celeste is definitely one of my favorite indie games of all time, but the amount of stuff you could toggle to change how the game played was insane. I just saw this menu and it looks crazy. Hold
permutations. The initial NG Plus I'm on now has far fewer save spots, making runbacks an absolute killer, which blissfully is not a concern at all in the base playthrough. And for you old school...
Okay, these modifiers, you could high jump, you could turn that on, 2-time walk speed, 2-time burrow speed, jump to exit burrow, walk on pits, you could put on, so basically walk on thin air, walk on pits. There's auto jump, floatier jumps, infinite burrow, walk on spikes, no pit damage.
Cool cheat code fans, there's a massive menu of modifications to turn on and off, which range from goofy...
More individual time, infinite health, take 3 times damage, take 0.5 damage, take 1.5 damage, take 0.75 damage, less individual time.
Helpful. You can
steady healing, more plasma, healing plasma, game speed percentage, recovery roses.
Even toggle on a sort of god mode for when you get stuck. Just remember that this disables the feat system. I left it alone for that reason, but...
Okay. So you can make a god mode in this game. You can make Mina a god if you wanted in this game. Okay, I'm fucking sold on this shit, dude. Like, I'm fucking sold. You can make this game absolutely fucking brutal with the modifiers, or you can make yourself God in this game, basically. God mode. Damn. Yeah, jump and hang, assist mode, no HUD. Wow, I don't know if I've ever seen so many helpful options in a single game ever. Like, this game right here deserves like a Lifetime Achievement Award for maybe being the most accessible game of all time. Like, as far as like being able to swing the difficulty from what I'm reading.
But I started a new save just to mess around with it, and it's fantastic for making Mina more accessible.
This is fucking great.
Mina the Hollower will burrow into your brain and set up a cozy little house there. I couldn't let it go. Clues to unsolved puzzles pop into my brain before bed. A spot high out of reach that I never set foot on beckons to me every time I pass it. That secret boss that destroyed me could be beatable with one really good grinding spot. Mina achieves the same heights in both action and style that its impressive inspirations reach on a regular basis, be that Zelda, Castlevania, or FromSoft RPGs. Even if all you've played is Breath of the Wild or Elden Ring, don't let the retro look fool you. Mina the Hollower will scratch the same itch. With an open world that's crammed with mysteries worth exploring and lively, clever combat I couldn't get enough of. It's a big game in a small package, and an absolute masterpiece of an adventure.
Wow.
Reviews director.
There it is. 10 out of 10 for Mina the Hollower. And you know what? After watching that review, hell, it may be a 10 out of 10 for me once I play it. Seriously. This is a dead serious, not only Game of the Year contender for the actual Game of the Year awards, could be an RJ Game of the Year contender, depending what happens. Could be one of the greatest indie games of all time, depending how this actually plays out. But yeah, holy shit. This is just great news, guys. I can't wait to play this game. Comes out Friday, May 29th. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Are you going to play Mina the Hollower? If so, let me know. If not, let me know. But until next time, this is your boy RJ Game News USA signing out. Peace. Have a good one.